Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another show of the Diversey BW Hotelier, the GM show. We're now in our fourth week. And after finishing West last week, where we did two shows in Mumbai, we're back in the North. We're back in NCR. And we have some of the finest stars today on show who will be led by a stellar moderator, somebody who's a great leader. I will talk about that in a bit. The show is on sustainability. We call it sustainability, sustainability, sustainability. There's no getting away. It is a case of now or never. Before I begin the show, I would like to bring in our presenting partner, Diversey. Namaskar. Good afternoon and greetings for BW Hotelier. Back in Delhi, like I said today, after doing the West and South, we're now going to be doing two shows today and tomorrow. Going by the viewership numbers, we've already crossed a huge viewership number. And this series is a winner already. Most of you have watched it live, and many of you have watched the recordings. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, stars on the show. Thank you, Team BW. And most importantly, thank you to our partners, Diversey. You've all supported us, and I owe you a large one. Like I've always maintained, this is that one show that presents to you all some of the finest Indian hospitality general management talent, leaders in their own rights. They will lead this industry in times to come, some sooner than later. You will see them walking into and filling large shoes, leading major brands and corporations. The reason why we do this GM show virtually is because it helps us to reach all general managers across the country without having to pull them out physically. It's a tough job. They need to be there. They need to be on the ball. And on the table, we've kept some important topics where we cover the show regionally, North, West, South, East, and this time, like the last visit, Northeast and Central as well. With two shows a week, every Thursday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. I shall request you to block your schedule and stay tuned. The show will be relayed live across our platforms, bwhotelier.com, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Be there, follow us, encourage us to bring you more such gems. And last but not the least, thank you all for your encouragement and support. Follow our social media. And for those of you who missed watching the show live last week, don't stress, the show recordings can be viewed across our just mentioned platforms. It's now that time where we get on with the show. I shall begin introducing the show like I did just mention again. Once again, sustainability, sustainability, sustainability. There's no getting away. It's a case of now or never. It's time to go beyond reduce, recycle, and reuse and aim high by going carbon neutral across assets and departments and go for LEED certification as a first step. And then bring everybody across your sphere of influence to toe the line. I have someone who's a star. Vishvapreet Singh Cheema. He is a man of great experience. He's the Director of Operations for Southeast Asia for IHG, somebody I'm very fond of, and I really look up to him. Welcome to the show, Vishvapreet.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bhuvanesh. Thank you.
Let me now bring in the speakers. Young and debonair Aagman Baury, who's the General Manager of the Leela Ambience Convention Hotel in Delhi. Welcome to the show, Aagman.
Thank you so much, Bhuvanesh. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Pleasure's ours. Next in is Puneet Chaudhry, who's the General Manager of the Radisson Blue Hotel, New Delhi, Paschim, Vihar. Welcome in, Puneet. Puneet, you're muted.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you for the opportunity.
Pleasure. Pankaj Gupta is our next General Manager on show. He's the General Manager of the Crowne Plaza, New Delhi in Mayur, Vihar. Welcome, Pankaj.
Good afternoon, Bhuvanesh, and thank you very much for this opportunity, and good afternoon, everyone.
Pleasure. Last but not the least, we have Gaurav Mehta. He's the General Manager of the Ramada by Wyndham, Gurgaon Central. Welcome to the show, Gaurav.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Khanna, giving me this an opportunity, and good morning, all.
Good afternoon. Begin the show in all earnest and hand the baton over to Vishvapreet. Vishvapreet, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Bhuvanesh. Firstly, for inviting me to moderate this very important session.
Joyjit Chakravorty, a good friend of mine. He's the General Manager of the Hilton Garden in New Delhi, Saket. Welcome to the show, Joy. Apologies.
I'm fine. Good.
Back to you, Vishvapreet.
Thank you very much for inviting me to moderate this session. Truly appreciate it.
Pleasure.
And a very warm welcome to all the panelists and the audience from around the country who have logged in for this episode. The topic that has been chosen for today, there is particularly no getting away from sustainability, and the need of the hour is to act now and aim for a carbon neutral work culture. It's a very thought-provoking topic and something that we should imbibe in our day-to-day activities or day-to-day lives. There is indeed no escaping from this one undeniable truth that there is no option from sustainability, and it is an imperative for our planet's future. So it's time to aim high and make bold commitments towards embedding the zero carbon culture within our departments, our hotel operations, hotel assets, and do our bit as responsible citizens and the industry. Right. So without any further ado, let me start with my first question, and that goes to Aagman Baury. So Aagman, how big a challenge is it for a general manager to drive revenues and profitability, yet running an environment-friendly and lean hotel?
Thank you, Vishvapreet. It's great to be here. I like to put this question into, especially the word challenge into context. We've seen news of, Greece, Spain, Southern Italy, Portugal. These places used to be called summer paradises. Unfortunately, they've been turned into furnaces with temperatures, as high as 45, 47 degrees Celsius, which they've never seen. There is drought for the last couple of years, there's water shortage due to that. Tourists, hotel guests in their hundreds and thousands had to be evacuated from these islands of Corfu, Rhodes. I think a news report that I was reading, from the island of Corfu alone, there were 500 hotel guests that were evacuated. So, and listening to some of the experiences have been quite, terrifying. There was a guest who was interviewed by the BBC, I think, who mentioned, he was in a pool with his kids, on a holiday, and suddenly they could see the ash falling. And a lot of these guests, although temporarily, in many ways became refugees, climate refugees. And what happens is, and hospitality businesses in these regions ended up being at the front line of these natural, or you may even say man-made natural disasters. So as an industry, we are already paying a heavy price. And when we think of these kind of consequences of maybe ignoring sustainability or our environment, so this word or this phrase does not really seem as a challenge. I feel this requires a change in mindset. It's about being aware what is happening outside and waking up each morning with sustainability as part of our daily agenda. Our CEO, Mr. Anurag Bhatnagar, his vision is very clear that if our business decisions are made, with short-term benefits only, the results of these decisions will probably quite undesirable or unsustainable in the future. So with that in mind, he's outlined our social responsibility strategy that is centered around 4 pillars. And the first of them is environment and sustainability, followed by community outreach, safety, diversity, and inclusion. These are all in many ways interconnected. And we as a company are committed towards global net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Our priorities, our immediate priorities include eliminating single-use plastic from our guest rooms, which we have done that in across our hotels. Our Tisha, which is our luxury bath amenity range, we are working together with Kimirka Hunter International to ensure that each bottle that is used is collected and then recycled. All our hotels in the portfolio have a water bottling plant by September. They will have all of them. Similarly, all our hotels are going to have EV charging stations very soon. Waste management is another top priority with emphasis on saving water, which is the most precious natural resource at the moment. We are using 100% treated water for cooling towers, horticulture, floor cleaning, and things like that. We are also looking to replace assets that are not as efficient with more efficient assets, which help us reduce our electrical consumption. And there are various other initiatives that are being taken by the company and at the individual hotel level as well. So I think to sum up, we look as a company, as a hotel, as a daily agenda and not a problem or a challenge to be dealt with. And I think that our guests also appreciate that. Guests who are millennials, who are Generation Z, they are also willing and they are more willing to pay that extra rate as well, with regard as long as hotels are following certain sustainable practices. Just to close, I want to share an anecdote. Yesterday, I had some friends at home, and my friend has a 13-year-old daughter, and my friend said to her daughter that, your generation is going to be going to face a lot of problems as far as environment is concerned. And her answer was, yes, that's absolutely true, and it's your generation who is to blame for this. So we both looked at each other and smiled, and we couldn't disagree with that. So yeah, I don't see it as a challenge. I think this is something that needs to be kept in our minds always. And yeah, that's probably what I have to say to that's the answer to your question.
Thanks a lot, Aagman. I think your point of view of that this is not a challenge, but this is to do with inculcating in our day-to-day, habits is a very well articulated aspect of what we need to do now. What's the need of the hour? So and yes, the Gen Z or the younger generation is very well aware of the consequences, and they know what needs to be done. So they are the ones pushing us. So no, I completely echo what the young lady was telling you yesterday. So perfect. Now over to Puneet. So Puneet, your question is, how do you build trust with environmentally conscious guests?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Cheema. Namaskar and good afternoon to all the elite panel. I'm truly humbled here to talk about my hotel's commitment towards sustainability and our efforts to secure a sustainable future. Building trust with the eco-conscious guest is vital for every business success today. Some of the key points which I can enumerate is transparent communication. We openly share our eco-friendly initiatives and goals, providing information about our green certifications. We share updates on our progress towards achieving sustainability targets by displaying boards in our hotel lobby, in our public areas. We demonstrate green practices. Obviously, actions always speak louder than words. So we take tangible actions, like using energy efficient lighting, water saving measures, waste reduction and management of waste, and recycling programs, and use of the renewable energy sources. Another key aspect is we source locally and ethically, which is extremely important because we prioritize using these locally sourced and organic products, supporting our local communities. We educate and raise awareness by providing educational material, in-room guides that inform guests about our sustainable practices and how they can contribute in very simple and doable ways. For example, what we inform them is that removing the room key from the master key switch when they are not in the room, choose to reuse linen, opt for intermittent use and low flow of water when they're using taps, avoid food wastage, extremely important because nowadays during social functions, we all see how much food wastage is there. So we started displaying boards in our banqueting, requesting them not to waste food and take small, portions. And also we request them to choose reduced use of crockery and cutlery, because that also indulges in wastage of chemical and water. We also we've been consistently being green certified by municipal corporation in Swachh Sarvekshan Abhiyan consistently over the last few years. We collect feedback and listen to our guests because we actively seek and value their feedbacks. Community involvement, we engage in environmental initiatives like we do. I'm sure all hotels participate in earth hours and planting of trees, so do we. But these initiatives, we also involve our local communities, our local high networking individuals, and they help in spreading the information awareness about the same. I think social media and online presence is also very important nowadays. We showcase our sustainability efforts on our online platforms. We share stories, photos, and videos, and highlight our commitment to the environment. Another aspect is measure and report, because unless it is not measured and it's reported, then sustainability practices, which all hotels do, cannot be enhanced or augmented. So we regularly measure. Transparency in reporting these demonstrates accountability and it builds trust. We are planning a fantastic initiative. In fact, we are in talks with doing hydroponic cultivation. I'm sure in short period of time, most hotels would start doing that. This would allow us to grow fresh produce efficiently and reduce our carbon footprint and provide our guests with locally sourced eco-friendly ingredients for greener dining experiences. Digital impact on sustainability. We need to be very careful. By leveraging these digital solutions, hotel can streamline operations, reduce waste, minimize resource consumption. Smart energy management systems can optimize lighting, heating, and cooling, thereby reducing our energy costs and usage. Digital booking platforms, mobile check-in, check-out options, minimize paper usage, streamline guest experiences. Moreover, these data analytics can help hotels identify areas for improvement. leading to better resource management and eco-friendlier approach overall. All these strategies help us in build trust and attract eco-minded travelers. In conclusion, it is our responsibility to engage and convert not just the socially aware guests, but also unaware guests, and bring them to the table that all of us need to be responsible towards the environment and the society. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Puneet. Thank you for elaborating all the measures that your hotel is taking at large to reduce carbon emissions. And one of my key takeaways from your discussion was engage and convert. That's very true. That's very important. Whilst we want to do our bit, we also need to make sure that the community at large also participates in the same philosophy. So no, thank you for elaborating on that. Thank you. And now let's move ahead. And I would want to throw this question to Joyjit Chakravorty. Joyjit, the question is, do you have any system to track your sustainability performance and reporting? And how does it help?
I think I'll begin with saying good afternoon to all the viewers here, and thank you, Mr. Khanna, for starting another brilliant episode of the GM Talks, and of course, thank you, Mr. Cheema, for leading the show. Now, coming back to the question, I think my previous speakers, Aagman and Puneet, they both have emphasized some great practices which they are doing as a hotel or as a company, making them aware. And Puneet just said, what gets measured gets done. So, nothing can be true, what he just mentioned. So with the Hilton world, we have something called Lightstay, which is the ESG management system, which tracks all the hotels, their performance and progress towards the goal. So the data which we collect, it's done on a monthly basis, helps us to track the carbon emissions, the water, the energy, there is the food waste. And of course, we also track the voluntary social projects, wherein we go back to the community or any kind of community services, what we do. And last but not the least, they also target or they also measure, keep a track of the donations. When we say donations, it's not always in terms of the monetary terms, but also in terms of services which we give. We have adapted a school here or an old age home, the kind of, we go with stationaries and all which we give. So that also gets tracked, And in a broader way, which I can say is, since we all hold ourselves accountable to our commitment and to the people and to the planet. So I think measuring it and keeping a track is one of the most vital importance right now. And so this progress, which we take on a monthly basis, individually among all the 7,000 plus hotels we have, helps us to keep a track, pain points what we are going, or any kind of legacy issues which are going. So that always helps us, wherein we plan our action points, or we plan any kind of help or training which is required for that. This transparent, it's a very transparent report what we have, and we also occasionally share the same thing with our clients, because Hilton as a company believes strongly on carbon neutral meetings and offsetting the carbon emissions which is done. So whenever a customer asks for it, we are very open about it, and we definitely share the reports with the customers also as well. And among the ESG framework governance, so this reports also advocates the governance part of it, so that we are fulfilling the structure what we have promised. So it tracks the progress as we go. Google recognizes Lightstay for the eco-certified labels, and Booking.com also uses Lightstay data to recognize and assign our hotels in their 3 travel sustainable levels. So, in terms of commercials also, we get the benefit out of it. And I think all of us know the role which Google or the OTAs play for the hotel commercials. like I said in the beginning, also this reports always helps a lot for the reports and trainings. And also one more aspect is going back to the ownership and, talking to them or sharing this data for the investment, what they have, the ROI, what we have generated is also very, very helpful to us. And last but not the least, in Hilton, all the general managers has a part of their KRA, which talks about the light stay fulfillment or, achieving the goals. So like I said in the beginning, what gets measured always gets done. So, being a part of the KRA also pushes us that we keep on doing what we are doing, all the hotels. So yeah, that is the way it helps all of us and with the tracking and the progress made.
Thanks, Joyjit, for elaborating what all measures that Hilton as an organization is taking. And yes, ESG management system is a key for us to make sure that we measure it properly and also make sure that we use the reports that we have to have discussions, especially when you're doing the RFPs and all that. So it does certainly help. So thank you very much for sharing that input. So now let's move for the next question to my colleague Pankaj Gupta. The question to you is, how can a hotel build and maintain its reputation as a socially responsible business? How can it contribute to long-term profitability of the property?
Good afternoon, Cheema, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, I must say that action speaks louder than words. And we all know what is globally happening and how global warming is affecting everyone around the world. Nowadays the customers are very, very intelligent, smart, and the community as well. They know what the organization is doing it and what the particular hotel is doing it. We have to be socially responsible whilst doing a business. We have many collaterals into our room where we talk about what all activities we are doing it. We are also on a social media or on IHG portals, things have been informed. There are many activities what we do, and we inform to all the customers. While it has come to a many incident while doing a transaction business with the customer, while doing a tie-up, they ask what kind of activities you are doing it. Are you socially responsible or not? So we have to show them a proof of what we're doing it. As Cheema, you're aware about it, the IHG has a green initiatives, Green Engage, which is one of the important parameter of the hotel's performance and being tracked on a monthly basis, where it has the multi layers. You start from band 1 to reach band 6, 7, where we have a lot of activities. Some are CapEx involved, some are the small activities, which actually turn into a social responsible business. Like, and as an example, it starts from a very small thing about what kind of light you're using at the hotel, the energy efficient or it is not. All those parameters being checked on a monthly basis. Recently, what we have done at the hotel, we have installed the heat pump, which is the extremely important for the sustainable for our world. Recently, IHG has also initiated about the food waste tool, which is recently been started, which is giving extremely good impact to our food cost and food waste. Well, I'll say food waste because we were able to track now what is the food waste is happening at the hotel. And also many activities like, the bottling, water bottle plant, such activities. This is definitely a social a message to the community, and definitely there's a long-term benefit for the hotel organization as a health of the hotel, which turns into a profit, which excites owner to invest more money into while doing a capex. Recently, we are talking to change our chiller plant, which is a huge cost. But when we calculate the ROI, it comes in 16 months. So it's excites to the owner, while I'll spend about 70 lakh rupees of changing chiller plant, but my ROI is only 16 months, and which also give the operating cost benefits and definitely to our environment.
Thanks, Pankaj. Yes, I agree with you. Health of the hotel is extremely important, right? Whilst ROI for ownership, yes, is important, but it is also ROI in terms of how we build our social responsible business capital across the globe and across the city. So, yes, it's important to be well aware of where we can save and contribute. Great. So my next question is to Gaurav. And the question, Gaurav, to you is, how can hotels benefit from sustainable practices in revenue optimization? Your views, obviously, if you can elaborate with examples, would be great.
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Mr. Khanna, for giving me this opportunity to be on the stage with such senior leaders of the trade. Good afternoon, Mr. Cheema, and all of my friends as well over there. The first thing I would say, basically, the question since yesterday evening, I have been asking myself about is sustainable development, what it is, to be very honest. So I would, I was thinking overnight, sustainable development, basically what I thought of, and I'm sure you're going to agree to, is the peace policy for the future. This is something basically, today what we are doing at this point in time is making in a framework. So we, as general managers, the business heads of the organizations, first of all, have to be self-conscious. So as we all say, charity begins from home. So we are the people who have to be, first of all, self-conscious, and accordingly, we can inculcate the values into our teams, into our people down the line to take it forward. And I would like to start with Wyndham as a family. The Wyndham as a group altogether, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, the initiative, what we have taken is the Wyndham Green certification. Any Wyndham hotel, so we are 23 brands altogether, any Wyndham hotel has to pass by 5 levels of Wyndham Green certification. It starts from level 1 to level 5. Up to level 4, there is hardly any expense which is there. But starting from level 5, where the expense is. So at this point in time, Ramada by Wyndham Gurgaon Central, the hotel which I am heading, we are already surpassed with the level 1, and we have already done. Just to quickly explain you about WGC, which is the Wyndham Green certification. This is a program which consists of 5 progressive levels, starting from level 1 to level 6, which are 6 to 7 best practices per level we are supposed to attain, and accordingly we are rated on to. And that becomes the part of our quality audit on an annual basis as well. And the moment any hotel of Wyndham family becomes or qualifies for level 1 or level 2, it comes onto your brand website as well, which in turn basically gives in that confidence to the guest who is paying a visit onto my brand website. We're going to see my hotel that, oh yes, this hotel is a level 1 core green or level 2 core green, and accordingly that would definitely build up a confidence onto the guest. So definitely it is reflecting onto the revenue optimization from stage 1 itself. And moreover, also to bring some light, a pretty interesting module, which is also interlinked with the TripAdvisor Green Leaders program as well. So it is a very strong certification program. No hotel can go wrong about it in terms of the kind of reports what we are supposed to maintain. It is not only maintaining the data, it is also implementing onto it. And as a hotel, what we have done as far as the level 1 is concerned, I would like to just quickly throw some light onto it. As I told you initially, it's not expense. It is just the awareness what we are supposed to have. It's the trainings what we are supposed to give in to impart into our employees. And accordingly, we can surpass the levels as it comes in. Very basic things, towel and the linen reuse program, which we have initiated. And for the awareness of the guests, we have placed in the tent cards into the rooms. If in case they would like to reuse, we'll be more than happy to. And the trainings have been given to the employees accordingly. And if I quantify in terms of how much savings have we done, though it's been only an data for my hotel of last 1 year, where I have been able to save a total cost of 9% in terms of my chemical and my laundry expense altogether. Just small things of imparting trainings, creating that awareness. Then additionally, transitioning to the energy efficient lighting. And I would be proud and happy to say that my hotel is 100% using in 100% efficient lighting, which is completely, we have converted in last 6 months into the LED lighting itself. And that has saved a huge cost. Though initial expense, yes, I do agree. But when it comes to cost savings and in longevity, it will definitely give us a saving of approximately 15%. So this is something serious. and also to bring upon the comprehensive recycle program, which has diverted waste from landfills, has led to 5% reduction in waste disposal for our hotel by introducing paperless checkouts, e-invoicing, which was mentioned by my friend earlier as well. So these are the initiatives what the hotel has taken, and it has complemented into a 2 to 5% saving. Installation of water refill stations has resulted in saving of approximately 5,000 single-use plastic bottles per month. So which is primarily basically, and then we started with the banqueting first, because that is where firstly we have to stop the use of the plastic bottles, and which most of the hotels have started using in, and they have introduced the glass bottles. And very soon we'll be coming up with a bottling plant as well, which merely requires 175 square feet of area, which we have already identified. Definitely it's a cost, but as the business kicks in, and definitely by, I think, next year on, it is already in pipeline that we'll be installing the bottling plant for our hotel. And moreover, implementing a food waste composting program, which has significantly minimized the food waste, which is being sent to the landfills. And that is approximately saved kgs of food waste, which is coming in. So in conclusion, I would say it's our world in trust for our children. So we are the people basically who need to invest today to get in the results for tomorrow. Thank you.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to thank him for all the examples that he gave. Very enriching, and some of them thought-provoking also. Great going, Gaurav.
Thank you.
So before I proceed further, because we've really gone beyond reduce, reuse, and recycle and plastic bottles. I think that is now par for the course. Most hotels have actually moved beyond that and gone to the next level. I mean, we've all spoken. I really want to pick on Mr. Cheema over here. Vishvapreet, you had a fairly large portfolio, and IHG is, of course, a global major. They have brilliant brands, and I'm sure they've done so much. As the head of ops for IHG in Southwest Asia, you do not just shoulder a lot of responsibility for sustainability practices and delivering end results that exceed global and local standards and expectations. Can I urge you to share how you go about bringing in a 360-degree alignment? Your owners, your various brands, your various assets, and most importantly, your people. If you can list 5 to 6 top doables that you have brought into the 2023 agenda, that'll be good.
Absolutely, Bhuvanesh. Thank you very much for this question. It's actually very important for us to make sure that we are embedding what we actually read about or follow as a value in the organization. So sustainability practices and exceeding global and local standards is paramount for any operation, leave alone just IHG. It is for every organization. We've heard the general managers here. And collectively as an industry, we have a massive footprint across the globe, right? And we play a very important role in working towards creating a sustainable future. So from an IHG's perspective, we strongly believe that sustainable tourism is the future. Our guests are well evolved and are more mindful than ever before, and are traveling responsibly as well. So as one of the world's leading hotel companies, we embrace our responsibility and an opportunity to make a positive difference and help shape the future, responsible travel. So in that perspective, as an organization, we built our commitment in 2021, and we launched a 10-year action plan, which is called Journey to Tomorrow. And that action plan has 3 distinctive characteristics or areas that we look at, right? The first one is for our people. So we promote well-being in our workplace. We champion an inclusive work culture and advance human rights, right? So as an organization, so for our people. The second is our communities. right? So we want to seize the opportunity to improve millions of lives. So whether it is by supporting relief or disaster relief, or tracking food poverty, or by providing skill trainings that can help drive social and economic change. So we contribute towards that. And the third and most important, which we've been talking about for the past half an hour or so, is working towards our planet, right? Our commitment towards our planet, where we say that we'll work with our hotels to reduce carbon emission in line with climate science, eliminating single-use items, reduce food waste, and collaborate with local stakeholders to tackle water sustainability issues in the areas that have greater risk on it, right? So to your question, how do I sort of bring in alignment with our 3 key agenda points of our journey to tomorrow? So first and foremost, I work very closely with the regional general managers and the general managers, right? And I work towards fostering a sustainable culture within our hotels. So this is to do with integrating sustainable principles in our day-to-day lives. It also involves creating awareness amongst all colleagues, and it is from top management to frontline colleagues, right? It's all together. Also making them aware of the importance of sustainability. There are a lot of regular trainings we provide and conduct workshops to equip the team with the knowledge and skills to implement sustainable practices effectively. So it becomes a part of our DNA, a day-to-day activity. And it is not just in the hotels. We encourage the team members to follow the same when they are back at home. So, you know, we want to spread the message that ways. Secondly, all my colleagues on the call have already alluded to the various green initiatives. So we have done a lot of green efficiencies that we brought in. So whether it is energy saving measures in terms of LED lighting, smart thermostats, effective HVAC systems, changing boiler operated laundry systems to electrical laundry systems, introduced heat pumps, motion sensors, etc. So there are a lot of these tactical activities that we have implemented, right? The second aspect is waste reduction. So not just waste reduction in food waste, which Pankaj spoke about. We are also looking at how we can stop or erase single-use plastic, right? So bulk amenities in the rooms. We are also going towards dry amenities which are eco-friendly, right? The third and most important is water. Water is scarce on this planet, right? So water-saving technologies have been put into place. There is encouragement to use water judiciously across our hotels, and we've also embarked on the journey of bottling our own drinking water, right? One of the gentlemen spoke about that also. We are also prioritizing sourcing of products locally, right? And this is very important because we want to support the regional economies and reduce the carbon footprint that ways also. And we, apart from procurement, we are also working with local communities to support social and environmental initiatives. So we've already got hotels that have EVs in our hotel. While we already have Green Engage as a system embedded in our hotels, and that tracks on a daily basis how the consumption is happening across waste or across energy or across water. We're also looking at engaging with green keys to make sure that there is certification that is acceptable on a global scale. All that is all good. The fourth most important aspect that I'd look at, and I work very closely with, is monitoring and reporting, right? So whilst we have all these point of views of implementing the culture and making sure that there is impact towards the communities, it is also very important for us to monitor how we are progressing. So we have implemented a robust monitoring and reporting system to track the progress of sustainability initiatives. We collect and analyze the data. So there is a team that analyzes the data, identifies the areas of improvement, and then we strategize and work with various stakeholders. It can be owners, it can be the hotel teams, it can be even guests, right? And suppliers. So all key stakeholders that help in running the hotels, we work with, and we sort of share our point of view. We are also well established in terms of dedicated regional sustainability teams. So there is a engineering team that makes sure that it goes about giving all the best practices and provide support and guidance to individual properties that are lagging behind. So there is that element also that we provide to the teams, and this particular team works with the engineering head for Southwest Asia and me directly. So we keep getting information of which particular hotel needs that support, and we then go and provide that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And finally, we encourage the culture of continuous improvement. That's very, very important. Whilst we are monitoring, we also need to make sure that we are taking continuous feedbacks from our guests, from our employees, from our owners, and incorporate the lessons that we've learned in our future ongoing processes. So in short, these are the 5-6 aspects that I look at on a daily basis or a monthly basis to make sure that embedding the sustainability culture is there across the region.
So it is good to hear that hospitality majors are stepping up, not just international brands, domestic brands.
Yes.
I mean, you look at ITC. ITC has done what not most brands all over the world have been able to do.
True.
They are not as big, but their work is cutting edge. So I think we need to step up. And look, the challenge is not going anywhere. Aagman spoke about Greece and what is happening in the West. The West wasn't too far. We were all migrating to the West for a better life. We surely have a better life out there now. They're sizzling when we're doing better. India is doing a great job on the environment front. But I guess it's now time to take a short commercial break before I come back to you, Vishvapreet, for the later part of our show. All right. So Diversey, thank you again. Back to you, Mr. Cheema.
Thanks, Bhuvanesh. So continuing with our questions, so back to Aagman. So my question to you, Aagman, is can you tell us about your pricing strategy, especially to reward your environmentally conscious guests? If you can state some examples, it'll be great.
Slightly tricky one. It is a tightrope that we walk, especially when it comes to initial investments on eco-friendly practices or sustainable practices. However, we are at the final stages of rolling out certain packages as well as discounts, as well as for guests who stay with us, and incentivizing these guests who are using, who choose to reuse towels, sheets, also guests who come to the hotel in an EV and things like that. Having said that, as a lot of research has also been done where guests are actually willing to pay more when it comes to a hotel that focuses on sustainable operations. Also, having a much broader approach, I feel, is required. With broader than offering discounts alone will probably not make a lot of difference. So we are working on building partnerships with our suppliers, our guests, and the local community, spreading awareness, especially with the local community, with our guests, as well as with our team members. An example, we have actually adopted certain areas surrounding the hotel and turned them into green spaces. So the effect of that has been that residents which are around, there's a big residential area which is close to our hotel. They have started using these spaces in the morning for their walks or stretching, yoga, and things like that. And that has kind of also increased our interaction with the local community within 5 kilometers of the hotel. We as a hotel are trying to ensure that as much as possible, we bring in the nature, we bring in nature in a city hotel, because it's not, it sometimes gets quite difficult. We've planted about 75 trees in and around the hotel. We have about 50 odd fish in the hotel. We have a small pond. We've also have about 6 ducks, which is quite unusual for a hotel that is right smack in the middle of this of a city. And also, I feel that guests are making decisions of choosing hotels and spaces depending on not, you know, their motivation factors is not just probably discounts and things like that, but they're choosing hotels that have plenty of green spaces where they can go and rejuvenate and recharge themselves from their busy and hectic lives. I've met guests who are who've come back from our hotels in Kovalam and Ashtamudi, and they've you know, spiritually and mentally they've felt really recharged and rejuvenated. So our aim also in a city hotel at the Leela Ambience Convention Center is not only to have just a great looking lobby or a trendy lobby or great looking rooms, but also putting nature within the hotel, within our guests' lives, and primarily their experiences.
Thanks, Aagman. Yes, it's important to obviously help build a well-being culture around where, both for our guests, and I'm sure you're doing it for your team members also, because if the surroundings are being maintained, I'm sure your team members are also enjoying that. So, and the community at large. So, no, thank you for doing that. Appreciate that effort of you and the team at the Leela. My next question is to Puneet. Back to you, Puneet. So, my question is, what big role does the government and corporate houses play in promoting sustainable practices and ensuring profitability?
Thank you. We see the hospitality industry is facing challenges in balancing the profitability and sustainability. However, I see it as an opportunity rather than a challenge. Government has been taking initiatives. There have been set policies by DPCC under the aegis of NGT. They have given us guidelines. They have given us mandates, encouraging eco-friendly measures and enforce environmental laws. Give you example, we've got guidelines to install an anti-smog machine at the terrace of the hotel because we are beyond 7 floors. We immediately did that. We labbed the idea. I hope it does make a huge difference. However, all such mandates have been duly complied with, whether it's dual fuel kit, emission controls for our DG sets. Those are also being complied with. Government also helps in infrastructure development. Of course, investment in sustainable infrastructure and transportation promotes eco-friendly tourism. For example, we all see that the number of highways which are being developed currently, that does help. We're seeing metro, we're seeing rapid trains coming up. During Commonwealth, we saw CNG buses coming up. Now we are seeing conversion to electric buses. And then point-to-point transportation through electric rickshaws. I think all of this are government measures, and it is definitely helping the environment. As a corporate responsibility, hotels can adopt sustainable practices, support local communities, conservation efforts by going paperless as we go into being 99% plastic-free, solar water heaters, solar electric poles, rainwater harvesting pits, so on and so forth. We are also installing in the next 2 months water-cooled heat pumps. We're also installing within the next 2 months water bottling plants, like my colleague Gaurav already talked about that. I would also, for the benefit of some young viewers, like to inform them, I'm sure most hotels have taken these initiatives, but for the benefit of the young viewers, minimize of single-use plastics is what most hotels are doing. We are doing use of odor-free manure produced from kitchen waste for horticulture use. We are doing 100% recycling of waste water through STPs. We also, the treated water is being used for horticulture. rainwater harvesting pits are there, garbage segregation to differentiate wet and dry garbage, solar water heaters, solar electric poles. We're maintaining green belt around the hotel to support the community. We use all the used oil is being managed as per the hazardous waste management and disposing of to government approved recycling agencies. Reduced air and noise pollution, as I already mentioned, under the aegis of Ministry of Environment. So all the hotels, I'm sure, have already taken these initiatives, but just for the benefit of the young viewers, it's also important that we collaborate with our local communities. Awareness is important, like already mentioned by, I think, Pankaj. So what we have done is we are partnering with NGOs and raising awareness about responsible tourism. We have also, this summer break, we also got the idea of inviting the neighborhood schools, getting the students come in batches. So they have promised us, it's not happened yet, but they have promised us that they'll send batches once the schools start in small batches, just to experience the hotel, so that we can educate the young minds who probably would then be enticed or motivated to join the hospitality industry, what hotels are being doing. So there are 2 schools have already committed to us, and we look forward to welcome these young minds, majorly 9th and 11th grade students. They just come and experience various departments. They don't really work. Also, certification recognition is important. So we've been working on that. Last year, we complied and we got Quality Austria certification for ISO 22000 2018, HACCP being part of that. This hotel was not a HACCP earlier, but now we've gone for ISO 22000. Also, before COVID, I was desperately looking for portable windmills. I think that time is not far ahead, where we need to, where we will end up using portable windmills on our terraces or around the periphery of the hotel to convert that energy also, because obviously the wind or the air is all around us. But unfortunately in India, that technology is not yet there. In conclusion, the government and corporate houses have crucial roles to play, promoting sustainable practices by setting these right policies, providing incentives, encouraging corporate responsibility, fostering awareness. They can create a win-win situation where the environment benefits and the industry remains profitable. Working together, we can ensure Delhi's hospitality sector becomes a shining example of sustainable tourism for the rest of the world to follow. As a brand, we do responsible business. We celebrate Responsible Business Week, although sustainability is on our mind the entire year. But this 1 week, we really, up the ante and increase our social responsibility and the awareness, which apparently happens next week. I think in near future, environment sustainability will transcend as the top stakeholder, not the bottom one. Tables will turn. And when we will talk about stakeholders, environment sustainability will be at the top. In the end, I can sum it that, it's a heard phrase that one Earth, one planet, and one global family.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Puneet. Due to paucity of time, we'll have to obviously restrict our examples and all that to a maximum of 2. So now my next question is to Joyjit. The question is, can you tell us about some energy efficient practices that you have implemented, which led to cost savings and increased profits?
Thank you for the question. And we all colleagues here, all the panelists, including you, just spoke about driving responsible, sustainable travel globally. But all that can only happen when it's integrated through our business operations, which ultimately lands up to profitability or healthy GOPs. Because that's when you have owners investing. That's how you spread. And so absolutely. I mean, all the best practices. I think Puneet was talking about portable windmills. Wow, what a great idea there is. Pankaj has been talking about heat pumps. Gaurav was talking about LEDs, and some of the other colleagues has been talking about EV cars and this. So what I do is I'll share a few common ideas which all the hotels of Hilton in India has embraced, and I'm going to talk about a few very unique ideas which I have done in my hotel. So The most common ones is, of course, I think most of our hotels are LED lighting and has the dimmer facilities. The motion sensor lighting in housekeeping pantries or business centers. Gyms and lockers are already in place. Of course, not to forget to mention that the emergency light is still always on, because there are at times instances that the motion sensor lighting is not probably there. So the emergency lights are always on. Another very important thing which most of our hotels have adapted to is the VFD system for our water pumps and consumptions. Also in the HVAC systems, TFAs and exhaust and HUs, which always helps or regulates the power consumption, which always adds to the bottom line. The PMS system, I think, is a very common thing which has been adapted by most of the hotels, not only by Hilton, but I guess it's been adapted by most of the international brands or most hotels, which controls one of the primary ones is controlling the lighting and the AC system of the hotel. I think all hotels of Delhi follows the PNG for the cooking oils, and of course some of them has adapted to the solar energy grids and solar panels installed in the roofs. And of course, a lot of work has also been progressed towards energy efficient gas burners. So these are the mostly common ones. And I think when you are talking also, Mr. Cheema, you spoke about boilers being converted into electricals and biodiesel ones as per the state policies and all. So these are ones which are common ones and definitely contributes a lot in the bottom line of any hotel. Currently in my hotel, what I have done is, one thing which at times a lot of general managers actually doesn't pay much attention is we take preventive maintenance of the HLP equipments in a very, very high priority. So any kind of thing. So we regularize checklist and all that. So that also gave us a scope to involve third-party audits. And I have to say in this forum that I included thermography into the third-party audits, and it did give me a lot of insights on copper wire leakages, which definitely we took action to cover them up, which resulted in less leakage of the electricity. So I think I would definitely recommend that. And I think heat pump is an evolving thing, and most of the hotels has already embraced it. One project which I'm very personally working on is, and with Diversey, is alternative for charcoal, which we are working on trying from coffee-based bricks. It's still on a hit and trial, and there's with the availability and everything. But I guess that will also help in contributing to the bottom line. And last but not the least, I think all the leaders here has always spoken about that staff, about the associates, about the team members. So we have formulated a green team in our hotel, because without involving the team members, you can never, get any kind of results. So whether it is for banqueting or for the cafeterias or F&B areas, so we have a green team in the hotel which meets once in a month. We talk about the progress what we have made, and also most of our hotels also has a process of MOT, who is the manager on duty in the evenings. So we have deliberately given him added one responsibility, is wherein he clicks photographs of places where lights can be off or the computer screen is on, so that it is not to pinpoint somebody, but to raise the awareness and always come back with a reminder that saving energy is not only engineering's responsibility, but it's a responsibility for all of us. In together they always contribute in the bottom line, and I'm sure all leaders and everybody would agree that that's what we ultimately intend to. So I think that's my piece from Hilton as well as my hotel, which we have been following it up.
Thanks, Joyjit. Thank you for the elaborate insight into what you are doing, especially for your hotel and Hilton at large. Thank you for that. Moving on to Pankaj. So Pankaj, sustainability has steadily transitioned from a mere buzzword to a business priority. So as a general manager, how do you see the trend moving? To you, is it an environmental responsibility and or a commercial advantage? How do you perceive it?
Well, when I looked at this question, otherwise, earlier times used to be a PR activity doing sustainability. But now, today's time, it has become a reality, and it is extremely important to that. A business priority, however, defines leads to a commercial advantage. With an increasing number of consumer prioritize sustainability, organizations that align, that focus on sustainability can attract more customer and gain competitive advantage to us. A focus on sustainability ensure a long-term viability on our organization by considering environmental, social, and economic factors that help business better adopt changing market conditions. Sustainability practice can enhance organization reputation and image, attract environmental conscious customers, employee, and investors. Keeping in mind the time constant, what I will say in conclusion, sustainability, responsible, and commercial advantage are not mutually exclusive. They are interconnected and mutually reinforce each other. Organization can embrace sustainability and environmental responsible can gain commercial and advantage, enhance their brand reputation, reduce cost, and contributes to a more sustainable future. Like earlier, we were talking about sustainable, but now it's reality. Definitely, it gives a lot of mileage towards the society, but also gives commercial advantage to the organization. And nowadays, owners are also extremely excited to do an initiative. There are hotels which are newly built, has all those things, but there are hotels which are 15 years old, 20 years old, can do a lot of things, can bring excitements within the external people and the internal people.
Thanks, Pankaj. Thanks for elaborating on that. And now my final question, last but not the least, to Gaurav, right? Gaurav, we spoke about water and all the efforts that are being done towards making sure that this is a scarce resource, right? So what or how do you manage your water usage in your hotel, and how does it impact your revenues? Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yes. So water definitely becomes an important aspect for all of us, and hotels use quite a lot of water, which has definitely become a scarce as well at this point of time. It's the hot topic at this point, not only with the hotels, with all the organizations, the corporate world, and our households as well, as we see the condition of the water, which is depleting day by day. I was going through a small survey in which basically the hotel rooms, how much gallons of water on a per day, a particular hotel room is being using is between 100 to 400 gallons. So that's a serious amount of water, what our room consumes on a per day basis. And if we calculate it on an annual basis, it boils down to 146,000 gallons of water annually per room. So imagine how much of water we are wasting. So definitely, as rightly mentioned by Joyjit as well, everything starts from the grassroots, I would say. Would like to reiterate this thing. Basically, everything starts from the grassroots, the consciousness of the people. So at our hotel, we have recognized the importance of managing water usage as a scarce resource. Definitely to address this concern, we have implemented various water saving measures and sustainable practices throughout our hotel. One of the key strategies what we have adopted is, first of all, educating our staff. So everything basically starts with the education of the staff. Definitely Wyndham's initiative onto their portal, they have given quite a lot of collateral study material, which is to be utilized by us if it is being given to us. So that is somewhere from where we impart trainings and bring in the consciousness to the people, showing them the importance of conserving the water and the role play that plays in its efficient use. This includes definitely promoting the water saving habits, such as not letting the water running unaccessibly, and promptly fixing any leaks. So there is a green team champions basically, which we have got within the hotel. It is not only the engineer's job, as one of my friends told, it is the job of all of us. Wherever we see any leaks, immediately to be reported to the engineering team or the housekeeping team, and according to the things can be fixed there and then, rather than waiting for the MOD checklist to come across or the checklist to be coming across, and then we are rectifying the things. then definitely, reducing the water consumptions. We have installed aerators all across, not only the public areas, but in the rooms as well. Onto all the taps we have installed in the aerators, and our showers are equipped with water efficient shower heads, which ensures a guest satisfying experience, and moreover using less water. Not even a single drop of water from our ROs is wasted, basically, which we are using in for the gardening, which we are using in the sewage STP plant, the water which is coming from the STP, the clean water we are using in for the gardening. These are the small initiatives what we have taken, and definitely which boils down to the implications where we have got positive in terms of saving the cost and end of the day complementing to the revenues as well. So these are the small initiatives basically what we have taken as a team.
Thanks a lot, Gaurav. So now we are at the end of the show. So Aagman, Puneet, Joyjit, Pankaj, and Gaurav, thank you for all your insights. Truly enriching and insight. A lot of information that you have shared. I'm sure this will be helpful for the community at large. So in conclusion, sustainability is not a choice, right? That we can afford to overlook or delay. The time for action is now, and it is our moral obligation to protect the planet and to protect us and our future generations. So through collaborative, innovative, and individual commitment, we can pave the way for a sustainable and thriving future. So thank you for all your insights, and over to you, Bhuvanesh.
Thank you, Mr. Cheema. I'll sum up the show. First of all, it's been a brilliant show, right? And you've so well led it. I couldn't have asked for a better colleague on show to anchor it. Thank you, Vishvapreet. Let's put our hands together for Vishvapreet.
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
Having said that, India has been a very frugal society. We've been all we are middle-class children, born to middle-class parents. We don't have to look too far. We don't have to look at the West. We have to look within. We came through a society where we would sustain ourselves by selling bottles, plastics, and newspapers, right? That would add to a monthly budget. Why did we all lose it after the opening up in 1990? So all that we have to do is rewind. And also my takeaway, while you summed it up, we've all made great points, but we need to go beyond aerators and water droplets and faucets and all that and efficient showers to the next level, right? We have cases within India, like I said, ITC, look there. I also think, when we go and try and take a home loan or a car loan or apply for a credit card, they look at our credit rating. And the credit rating is done by various agencies for every Indian, right? There's no getting away. And with technology and IT aiding us, I think it's now time to rate every individual on green parameters. How are they doing it? And basis that, should they not only get good rates at hotels, they should get, it should affect their ITR, it should get them good rates for home loans, for car loans, or for personal loans, or for corporate loans. I think whatever we call it, somebody has to take the idea and build on it. Green rating of every client. What tissues did he use? What linen did he use? So I think somewhere hotels need to have a checklist. कि इसने इतने towel लिए, bed linen लिए, इतने napkin use किए, इतना पानी use किया. So, if you go to the West and you're driving a vehicle, it is not just the mileage that gets measured. Every tire, every movable part has a meter. So I think we need to go beyond the mundane or whatever we are doing. Thank you all. It's been a brilliant show. Thank you again, Vishvapreet. Thank you for anchoring it so well and for such an important topic. I think beyond Joyjit, Puneet, and Pankaj, I think we've done shows together. And Vishvapreet, you were also there once.
Yeah.
So this is my first show with Aagman and Gaurav. Thank you all. Aagman, you presented a great case. So did everybody else. Pankaj, Puneet, Joyjit, and Gaurav. Thank you for gracing the BW Hotelier platform. And before I shut this show and cap it, our show tomorrow, Friday, August 4, is going to be on F&B. F&B shaping the future of hotel business. It's a great show, and food wastage is extremely important. And food also adds to your bottom line and brings in clients. Thank you all. With that, I also thank Team BW, Ajit, Saurabh, Bulbul, Nilesh, Amit, the backend team, the technology team at BW, led by our CMO, Tanvi, Shweta, Kartike, Salman, Prashant, and everybody else. So there's a great team working on bringing the show live to you all and handling the editorial and social media aspects. Thank you again. Bye-bye.